Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today on the stream, I want to speak about how you can double your money, your income, but still be in more financial troubles. What happens? I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people tell me how their biggest desire is to double their income, to have more income. Many people think that by having more income, you are likely to be in less financial trouble. You're likely to be better off financially. But this is not the case. Sometimes you may double your income and be in more financial trouble. Why is this the case? The assumption is the more money you make, the more you're better off financially. But this may not really be the case. And we're going to talk about this today. And the first reason why doubling your income will not necessarily double your uh, chances financially or improve your financial situation is because of something called lifestyle creep. That is the first reason. Suddenly becomes old. The car that you're driving suddenly becomes unusable. You suddenly want to have a better car. You suddenly want to have a bigger house. Suddenly, the neighborhood in which you are living starts becoming insecure. Suddenly, the friends that you had made start becoming a little short sighted. You start becoming more ambitious. The local entertainment joints that you used to frequent start becoming a little bit below your standard. Even the places and the clothes that you used to wear suddenly become a little bit cheap. So now you start feeling a bit of the warmth of having more income in your disposition. And when you start feeling this in Swahili, joto ya pesa, when you start feeling this joto ya pesa or the heat of having more money, just of the thought of now you can suddenly make some changes. Suddenly, the thing that you thought was unachievable now becomes achievable. You sort of especially increase your expenses. So you double your expenses, then you double your rent, then you double your food because you no longer cook, you now eat out more. You double your expenses on clothing. This is because you used to have second-hand clothes. You used to go to second-hand clothes places. You used to go to cheap Isili and the like cheap places to buy clothes. But suddenly now you're going to downtown places, the cool places to buy clothes. You start doubling your education expenses. Suddenly the schools that your children are going are becoming a little below your standard. What will people think? People of my standard, I'm now a manager. A manager cannot take their children to a local school. Now suddenly, this school that was sufficient for you and your children at this time becomes a little bit too low for your standard. Lifestyle creep. And lifestyle creeps come slowly by slowly. That is why I usually suggest to people, and when I speak to anyone about who has just increased their income or they have gotten a new job and so far income has come, normally what I tell them is to maintain their expenses for at least 6 months. So you have that double of income. But instead of moving the following month to a new house, stay in the same house. Instead of taking your children to a much fancier school, stay in that school for 6 months. This is because the 6 months allows you to be comfortable even with the additional income and have avenues to go towards investment. But no sooner have you earned this income, have you found places to take this money in form of expenses, then you are not going to be better off financially. Sometimes you might find that you go into bigger expenses, so you even triple some of the expenses, but your income has just doubled. So you end up spending more than you actually earn. Even though when you earn half of that income, you are still better off financially. So lifestyle creep starts coming. Unasikia joto ya pesa, unasikia you're feeling heat, you feel like you need to spend. And I remember this whole thing about spending money. I remember there was a time I used to have a domestic manager who used to work in our house. And I remember every time that we paid her salary, she would get ile joto ya pesa. You know, you feel a certain warmth when you get money. And all of a sudden, she would make more calls than usual. All of a sudden, when you are paid, you are happier than usual. All of a sudden, when you are paid, you start calling people and asking, where is the plot? What can we do? And this is the same thing with increased income. You start feeling the urge to call people. You start feeling the urge to ask people, what is the thing that you can be able to do? You start feeling the urge to shop around for a car, even though you still have a car, but you start feeling the urge to get more, to have more, to do more. And this lifestyle creeps easily makes your expenses outweigh the income that increase that you've already incurred. And that's why sometimes you might find somebody who is a manager earning a lot more money at the end of 10 years may be worse off financially than a subordinate who is earning even half of that salary but is able to live or limit their expenses and their lifestyle to a certain standard. So lifestyle creep is one of the biggest things that make people spend a lot of money. Suddenly you hear people saying, I cannot earn my money in the sun and enjoy it in the sun. Suddenly you want a little bit more of your money to do a little bit more of making you happier and more luxurious. And when it comes with a salary increase or an income increase, then you end up not being better off financially. And the thing is, suddenly you earn this money and you feel like making big moves. You suddenly want to make a big house. You suddenly want a 5 bedroom master and suite house. You are living in a rented house that was a 2 bedroom house. You are comfortable with it. You and your small family, you are comfortable with it. But all of a sudden, because you've doubled your income, you double your expectation. You want to make big moves. Now, unfortunately, I'm not saying that making big moves is bad, but when you make big moves, but then it is accompanied by bad planning, you end up making a big mistake. So you make a big move, but you have poor planning. You take a big loan to pay for a big house, yet you have not factored in all the cost of this big house. This is because you may have just planned for a small house in your mind before, but now because you have this additional income and because you now qualify for this amount of money in terms of a loan, you plan big. So you just double what you already have. Who plans for a big house but yet cannot complete it? In their minds, they assumed now they will build a big house, and by the time they start paying off their loan in the 6th month, they have already entered the house. But because they had not planned, and because they're excited about these big things, because a big house comes with big chandeliers, comes with a big paint job, comes with big tiles, big expectations. Because you cannot have a big house and small fixtures. You cannot have a big house and small expectations from your guests. Suddenly, what do people think? You have a big house, yet a few things are not looking like they are working in the way they're supposed to work. So suddenly, you start doing big and big, and then you stop and you forget to do the planning. Now, planning is not exciting for a lot of people, especially the people who are too ambitious. You do not want to sit down and plan. But failure to plan is planning to fail. So you plan to fail from the beginning because you did not plan. And this is because you start making big moves with the sudden increase of your money. Again, in Swahili, joto ya pesa. Joto ya pesa inafanya you want to now do big things, but you forget to do the planning. The other thing that comes with you having this amount of money, because remember, when you have this amount of money, many people cannot be able to handle a double increase in income. They sort of start feeling like they want to be the savior of the world. They want to save people from many situations. And before you have additional plans for your money, you suddenly start giving people money. So suddenly somebody has an issue and you want to save them with money, send them money. You want to save everyone. You want to take everyone to school. You want to educate your grandfather's uncle's cousin. You want to educate everyone. You have acquired a savior mentality. I'm not saying don't help people. But I'm saying it is good to understand that you cannot save everyone. You cannot save everyone's financial problems, especially if it is problems that are due to their problem in being financially prudent. So you save people from their financial troubles, even though you could have done otherwise. And especially where you save them by giving them a fish instead of helping them to know how to fish themselves. So you end up creating a problem and giving them and giving them and giving them. I remember there was a time I worked once in an NGO and we used to do relief food. And we would go to some of these villages. And I remember one of the plans that we had is to have a project that is more sustainable. So instead of giving them a fish or giving them this relief food, relief food, relief food, relief food, every now and then, what if we build them dams? What what if you build them things that are going to provide water for irrigation for their plants so that they don't need to wait for the food? We stop hearing these cases of people dying without having something to eat. So when we approach the community, their concerns were, if you build us these dams, we'll stop receiving food. Now, the people who are around you, if you are used to giving them something small, the social pressure increases because you have always been giving them and they are afraid of you withdrawing this amount from them. So, when you start saving the world, you realize that the world is too big for your increased income. And because of this social pressure, all of a sudden you are master of ceremony in each and every gathering. All of a sudden, you start being called Kubwa, big man. You know, our leader. Everyone wants to call you every good thing just because you have something that is falling from your pocket. The social pressure, after you have started showing signs of having joto ya pesa or heat of having money in your pocket, makes the social pressure increase significantly. And this social pressure, and because of your savior complex thing, you end up spending a lot more than you actually increased in your income. So you end up in more financial troubles to appease your social circles. Having a little bit more money sometimes can put you in the trap of keeping up with the Joneses. Like I said, you start looking at people, your neighbor. Oh, my neighbor bought a car. I can actually buy a car. You start saying, oh, what are other managers doing? You start thinking, if other managers are driving a four-wheel car, why don't I also buy a four-wheel car? So you buy because people are doing and you do not want to be left behind. You get into a kind of a social pressure, like the way teenagers influence each other. One teenager wants to have a piercing, another one wants to have a piercing. Not because a piercing makes sense, but because they want to fit in a certain clique. So you don't want to keep up with the Joneses. You look at the grass, you see it as greener, but you do not know whether the grass on the other side is watered by sewage water. You are just excited to look at the green elsewhere, but you forget that you also need to plan, invest, and do all these things to be in a better financial standing. Unfortunately, the people who are better off financially do not look the part. You cannot wear the shares that you have in the stock market. You cannot wear the passive income that you are generating from your rental property. You cannot wear that, but you can wear a Gucci suit. A Gucci suit, which is expensive. You can look expensive even though you are worth nothing. If you shake down this person with all these nice clothing and big car, they are worth nothing compared to this person who is keeping their money aside. So when you are financially prudent, it might not look the part. And actually, you might have to fight the urge to want to be like others to understand that this is not a fight. This is not a war. You cannot compete with everyone because, let's face it, there's somebody who will look like they have more money than you. There's somebody who will look more handsome than you. There's somebody who will look like they are more beautiful than you. There's somebody who will look taller than you, shorter than you, who will smile better than you. So there's always somebody who will be better at something. Fight your own race. The best way you can be able to be yourself is be yourself. And when you're yourself, even your financials are even better. But when you get a little bit of income and you want to show everyone, you want to keep up with everyone, you want to incur expenses not because they make sense, but because you want to show others and be like others, then problems start coming to your house. The other thing is, all of a sudden, have you ever noticed when you have an increase in your income, when your bank account starts getting a little bit more income, all of a sudden, banks start calling. All of a sudden, loan providers start calling. It's like they smell your new ability to pay an even bigger, higher, more expensive loan. They start smelling the new increasing potential to make money from you. My friend, when a banker comes to you, they're not looking at helping you get a car. They're not helping you at getting you get a good deal on a house. They're looking at the potential loan interest that you're going to pay them. They're there to make money. When uh, a banker who is a financial advisor comes to you, But at the end of the day, they're not advising you because it makes sense. They're advising you so that you can buy their product. They're chasing a commission. You're going to fail off financially. So these people smell the money. And because if you're the kind of person who additionally, over and above your bank, if you are additionally the kind of person who shows that you are doing well, remember the shiny things, you're showing off the shiny things, they will smell it a mile away and they will start coming and coming and coming and coming. My friends, you may double your income, but your financials may be worse off. So you need to understand what you need to do. So if you earn a little bit more money, like I said earlier, if you double your income today, maintain your expenses now for a period of 6 months. Before you double any expense, before you do anything, settle in. In fact, the excess money that you make, send it towards savings and investment for the 6 months so that you can be able to have rationality as you make this decision, so that the heat, ile joto ipungue, so that the heat of feeling the heat of your pocket slows down, so that you can be able to handling a lot of money. So you would rather, if you're not going to invest it, even leave it in a bank and forget. Do not even look at your statement for 6 months. This is because you will now start thinking rationally. Remember, emotionally charged people make bad financial decisions. When you are happy, you are too ambitious. You are too happy to enter into a bad deal. You are too happy to spend money uh, anyhow. That is why drunk people, people who are drunk at the point of drunkenness, make bad financial decisions that they end up buying things that are unnecessary. They end up buying things expensively. This is because of heightened excitement. People who are fearful, on the other hand, end up not investing. This is because they fear anything that may have any particular risk. So avoid emotions by having 6 months of just continuing, settling, and waiting. Expenses are not changing. You are not changing your lifestyle so that you can be able to plan and ensure that you will double your income and be better off financially. Remember, it does not matter how much you make at the end of the month. It does not matter how many millions you earn. What matters is how you make your millions work for you. The best scenario is to have money that is producing other money. Let the money that you make chase other money. When it chases other money, you can be able to sit as you make money without spending your time. The ultimate financial freedom is when you do not have to exchange time for money, but you're making money because of the money that you have. Remember, you can be able to replace money, you can be able to make more money, but you cannot replace the time that you have. Financial freedom allows you to do that. And when you have doubled your income, you have now doubled the possibility of reaching your financial goals at half the time. I hope you're learning, you're growing, and becoming better in your financial affairs. Remember to comment down in the comment section. Let us discuss, let us talk about this. And I hope to speak to you soon as we tackle the issue of finances. If you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Leave a like in the comment and let us engage. Thank you. Enjoy your day.